Hey everyone, and welcome to Comic Breakdown. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the content that we have coming out. And today, we're going to be diving into X-Men S.W.O.R.D. issue number 2. Now, if you haven't checked out issue number 1 of S.W.O.R.D., go ahead and go check that out right now, because issue number 1 of S.W.O.R.D. is freaking awesome. And I am super excited about this line. And this is the King in Black tie-in that brings S.W.O.R.D. into the loop. And so we're going to find out exactly what's happening with them as Knull descends upon the Earth. And with that being said, let's dive into this issue. Alright, so diving into this one, we pick up on S.W.O.R.D. Station. And at this point, the entire world is covered in symbiote. And our Krakoans that are now manning the station are trying to find what best options they can use to be able to combat this threat and get communications back online. So Abigail Brand is hightailing it, trying to get everything she can situated. And the Krakoan portals are still open. So this is how they're going to send a reconnaissance team to find out exactly what's going on. And so this is where we see Random, Cortez, Frenzy, Payback all decide that they're going to be the team headed out. And while this is all going on, and they're discussing the logistics of the mission, WizKid is still working vigorously to make sure the symbiotes stay away from the station. And we see him charge up the defense systems and blast one of these symbiote dragons right out of the sky. And this is where Mentallo really acts like he's like, I really don't want to go. I don't really want to go on a suicide mission. Like, can anybody else do this? And this is where Abigail Brand lets them know, like, I have a different mission for you. And she lowers her mental defenses just a little, just enough for him to read any surface thoughts. And she tells him to look for Protocol 5. And his face is absolute shock. And he just says, it's unthinkable. And her response is, and yet I thought it. It is literally her job to think about the unthinkable every single day. And the fate of the world is at hand. They are facing a planetary genocide. So thinking the unthinkable may be a necessity in this situation if they can't win against Knull. And she tells him to get it done. And this is where we pick up with our reconnaissance team. Now on Krakoa, making their way through a snowy island. Now due to the sun being blacked out, the climate has changed very drastically, very quickly. And as they come through, they're seeing Magneto and Sunfire and a few of the others battling with one of these symbiote dragons. And Sunfire's really giving it all he has. But alas, Sunfire is hit and he falls to the ground, body broken, but still alive. And this is when Cortez makes his way over to him and uses his powers to enhance Sunfire so strong, he becomes the Krakoan sun. And just like that, he blasts these symbiotes to oblivion. And then we pick up in the hatchery. And the 5 are sitting here discussing what they should be doing, because some of them feel like they should be headed out to join their brothers and sisters in the battle against Knull, while the others believe they should be staying here waiting to see if they're needed to use the hatchery. But this is when Mentallo drops in what he's calling a think tank, or otherwise known as an escape vehicle as you leave the Earth to die. And this is what Protocol 5 is all about. And a complete evacuation, because they're probably gonna scrub the Earth of all life. And as they're all standing here, figuring out what's next for them, this is when they hear a voice through the portal. The voice of Knull. And a hand reaches through, a footstep away, and he has a whole new island of hosts. Not just any hosts, but useful hosts. The kind of hosts that can do things, that can get things done. And this is when we see a symbiote step out, but it's not just any symbiote. It is symbiote Cable. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think. It's about time that S.W.O.R.D. finally wrapped into this. A lot of our X-Men lines aren't really wrapping in too much into the King in Black line, but it was only a matter of time before they did. And we've seen hints of them here and there in tie-ins and things of that nature, but there hasn't been a whole issue with X-Men having to deal with this. And so as this comic went along, I was very curious where Cable was. Cable is head of security for S.W.O.R.D. Station. So his absence was very interesting. We can only assume that he ended up on Krakoa to try to help during the invasion and ended up getting taken over by one of the symbiotes. And the problem with this is the more mutant symbiotes they get, the more dangerous they are going to be and the harder they're going to be able to push back. So all in all, I have to say this was freaking amazing. And that Cable symbiote art is phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. I am really excited to see how they're going to be able to take on Cable, how they're going to get the symbiotes off of him, and at the end of the day, what mutants are they going to be bringing forward for this battle against Knull? I really am hoping that it's not anticlimactic, because they've really been teasing so many options and possibilities on how they can take down Knull. And personally, I would like to see all of them implemented into one giant issue. Give us like a 50-page issue where it is literally all of our heroes that have the ability, like Peter Quill and Dylan Brock, have all these guys come together and take on Knull. That would be absolutely epic proportions. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you have not yet, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and then go check out Comic Breakdown and More podcast, available on iTunes and Spotify. It's an hour-long, in-depth talk about the comic pulls of the week, about cinematic aspects from WandaVision to Wonder Woman 84. We talk about all of it, give you guys a little bit more understanding of everything going on. We post an episode every Friday. I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can go check that out. And until the next video.